inshaAllah, a reminder always for myself, ahlul sunnah wal jama'ah, and the reality of tariqats and following the teachings of ahlul haqa'iq and the people of realities, moving to the reality that Allah wants to dress the nation of Sayyidina Muhammad and all creation. And Prophet described adabana rabbi fa ahsana fi tahdib. That only thing that Prophet claimed was that I've been sent to perfect the manners of humanity and the characteristic of ihsan, so that ihsan reaches the noble dress in which Allah dressed. These are the representative of the heavenly kingdom. And always reminder for myself that everything Mawlana Shaykh teaching from Prophet's teaching, and that Prophet sending from Divinely Presence is the perfection of character and the avoidance of pride and arrogance and bad manners. And that in every action we do to be vigilant if bad manners are entering that amal or entering the heart. Both extremely dangerous. If the bad manner is entering within the amal and the action, that action becomes contaminated. So even like a pure glass of water, if somebody begins to sprinkle wine into your water, it's now dead, it's contaminated for you to drink. So like our amal and our actions, Mawlana Shaykh always teaching to be vigilant, that if in my actions and in my prayers and whatever I'm doing is pride and bad character entering, then it has no value in Divinely Presence. At the same time taking vigilance over ourselves and asking, Ya Rabbi, is pride and arrogance entering into my heart? If it's entering into my heart, again Prophet reminding, Mawlana Shaykh teaching, then that person has no value in Divinely Presence. Because any drop of arrogance is a drop from shaitan. And that's why shaitan was brought down from the maqam of teaching angels. It doesn't matter what you think your amal is raising you or how proud you are in the actions that you do, and that your actions you may deem to be superior to others, but if they are in contamination of pride and arrogance, contaminated by Satan himself, because these are the characteristics of Satan, then that action is based on falling, because he's the imam of falling. He's the one who's the reminder that, oh, I built myself, but all along it was built by pride and arrogance. And it only took one action, one symbol of humility to expose all of its corruption. And that's everything in religion is defined in that one action. The Divine saying, everything you building your relationship with me based on your amal, based on your heart. If it's based on arrogance and pride, I will reveal one action, minimum one action, to expose it and bring you down, and you have a descent like Satan from lofty maqams or stations and immediately plummet to the earth. That all I have to show is if there's an arrogance, and all he asked from Satan was bow down, bow down. Bow down is big, because he's all his life thinking he is worshipping, and he can only listen to Allah, only take obedience to Allah, everything only Allah. And Allah said, you bow down in respect to Bani Adam. And all the malaika bowed. As soon as they got up, they saw Iblis is still standing there, not bowing. And the malaika out of fear they bow down again. And that's why in our salah we have two sajda. They're feared that why he's not bowing down. And Allah then exposing, then I don't need all your amal. I don't need all the things you did if you think you're doing it out of pride and arrogance. So then the real mashaykh of haqqaiq and reality, they begin to remind us in everything we do, don't build your house based on pride and arrogance. Because every action, every amal, because we don't know yet the heart and we don't understand that we're building the heart. But every action is a building our faith with prayer, with zakat, with shahada, with the salah, with zakat, with the saum of Ramadan and the hajj. All of these are building the walls of our house, which is the house of faith that lies within our heart, the house in which Allah's light will occupy. Qalbul mu'min baytullah. The heart of the believer is the house of the Divine. And Allah says, don't build that house because I can't come in if there's pride and arrogance. So then Allah describes the heart in Qur'an that sanctify it, purify it, cleanse it, and then circumambulate around that house, means the heart. Be vigilant of the heart and of the action, that in everything we're doing, is it based on pride and arrogance? So then every amal, are we praying, and is the praying based on you think that you're great because you're praying, and that you pray a lot and you pray perfectly and you do all sorts of nice things with your prayer. Then you begin to build a relationship that your salah is something special to Allah. And now pride and arrogance has filled that amal. Pray because Allah ordered you to pray, and know that every prayer doesn't count in His Divinely Presence. He doesn't look to it, He sees the filth and the horrible smell of it, and you pray only because you have been ordered to pray. You train yourselves and we train ourselves not to see anything in our action, because the first usul is shirk, and the biggest shirk is the hidden shirk. Well, I think I'm something, my prayer is great. As if you've made yourself Allah, a God, and you're praying to yourself because you're so pleased with yourself, you're so pleased with your actions. Then they warn that now pride has entered into that amal. If pride is entering that amal, most definitely it's entering and penetrating into the heart. And then you come across people who, when they pray, they think the whole earth is shaking, and they have to move their qibla 4 or 5 degrees here and there as if it's counting, as if they're like a rock and they're throwing it and Allah's going to catch it. They become so particular in their action, as if their action is of some benefit and some counting and the whole world will be saved by it. It's filled with pride and arrogance. Allah says, I'm the Lord of the East and of the West, and any face and anywhere you direct your face you'll find me. First level of that salah, not to even believe it counted, Ya Rabbi I'm praying because you ordered me. But it's filled with nifaq, it's filled with the shirk al-kafi, the hidden shirk within my heart. Only through your mercy will you accept that amal to be written for me, that maybe malaika will perfect it and clean it. Maybe the intercession of Sayyidina Muhammad will intercede on that amal, wash it and perfect it and present it to Divinely Presence. Means the way of adab is a way of training ourselves, that how dare I think anything I do has a value. Leave it for Allah to determine if it has a value. We negate it. We negate it as nothing. then Allah has the right to say, you know, it's okay you counted it as nothing, I'm accepting it. Versus the arrogance of saying, no, I think of it as something great, therefore you owe me. The whole relationship then changes to where everything you're doing, you think you're owed something, you think that you're great and you have accomplished something, and that Allah now owes you. And that's not a condition in which anyone should hope to meet their Lord. You owe me, astaghfirullah. And Allah says, no matter what you did, it didn't pay for just the eyesight I gave you, the breath I gave you, the health I gave you, the wealth I gave you. You could have been crippled sitting in a chair and worshipping me. I could have sent you through the jungle and been eaten alive just to enter into my paradise. The cost of paradise is very heavy, it's not an easy ticket. Nabi Musa said, Ya Rabbi, let me to see one of your perfect abd, one of your amazing servants. And he was inspired to go to a cave. And in the cave he saw somebody making zikr, but he was astonished that when he looked at him, this servant had no feet, no hands, and just his head and his torso, making zikr, 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 zikr. And he was astonished that, Ya Rabbi, this is from your best servants, whom you most pleased with. Allah is inspiring, go, I show you one of my best servants. And as he's looking and talking to Allah, amazed that the best of his servants is in such a difficult condition, immediately a mountain lion came and ripped the man to pieces. It was ripping him, and as he's ripping him to pieces, he's making his recitation and zikr of Allah. Nabi Musa shocked and taken back and said, Ya Rabbi, what was that? He said, the price of my paradise is not cheap, Ya Musa. This is difficult. And we think we got the key based on our action. So then they teach us to be vigilant, that your shahada was not real. When you say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu Muhammadan Rasulullah, you don't see anything. So why are you lying that you're taking a real shahada? Shahada means to be shuhud, to witness. If you're not witnessing, the shahada is a lie, it's an imitation. So Allah is saying, what to be proud from? Iqam as-salah, your salah, you're not seeing anyone. You're not seeing as-salamu alayka ayyuhan nabi, as-salamu alaykum ibadullahi salihin. Means yet not even the salah became real. Anyone who thinks their salah is real, then when they're giving salams and saying, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu Muhammadan Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they must be witnessing Prophet in front of them. They must be witnessing the words Allah asked them to recite. The zakah that they give is a purification for themselves, and not to build any pride in what they gave and what they do. Because Allah didn't need it, but we needed to give it. This was an amanat and a trust that was given to us. I mean, very important part of our belief. When you think you're giving, then you're giving the hidden shirk to yourself, right? First usul, shirk. Biggest shirk that Prophet concerned is the hidden shirk. Hidden shirk, ananiya, when you think you're the great one and that you're worshipping yourself and not Allah. And awliya Allah come into our lives and begin to teach the delicacy of these words and these actions. That when you give and you think and you become proud of what you gave as if you gave, then you're claiming it was yours and it was your smartness that you gave something. I gave it. They come back and teach, no. Your reality is it was entrusted to you by Allah, and that's why we call it amanat. If He gave you a spaghetti, a piece of spaghetti or a piece of rice, and it was a trust that you were supposed to bring that rice to that event and you didn't fulfill your trust. That's the way to think. Not that, oh, I'm so generous, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I brought water, I brought rice, I gave this, I gave that. Then we build a relationship of pride within ourselves, because what we're doing, we're very proud of. As soon as we become proud of it, then we determine we're not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to be of service, I'm not going to help, I'm not going to volunteer, because I, the Pharaoh I, the one eye of the Antichrist, because he talks with I. He's inheritor from the Pharaoh, and Pharaoh told Nabi Musa, Ana Rabbi al-Ala, I am the Lord Most High, in his debates with Nabi Musa. From that time, that energy exists, what we call ananiya, when we put our I-ness, and that's the one that's always confronting Allah and not submitting to Allah. Where I put myself as my hawa becomes my Lord, my desire becomes my Lord, and I begin to bow down to my desires. The shaykhs of reality come and begin to teach every action that you're doing, look into that action and make sure that you're cleaning it and scrubbing it, and correct your words in your mind, correct your words in your dialogue to Allah. You're not giving anything, you are merely returning what was entrusted to you, and that's called submission. When you know that it's a master's house, it's not your house. You can't go inside the house and steal all the silverware and take everything that you want. Islam means to submit, and you're submitting to who? The owner of the house. So Allah says, I own that house and you are merely my servant. Are you accepting servanthood? Aslamtu ya Rabbi. We're asking to submit, to be a servant with under your domain. Not that it's mine, I can do with what I want, but I'm merely a servant, entrusted. And when then they become higher darajats and they become entrusted with the trust, because they're no longer people who are pillaging and putting themselves in everything, but they negate themselves, become nothing, and they begin to realize that I'm returning my trust to you, Ya Rabbi. I'm to be of service to you, Ya Rabbi. Means that everything we do is based on that principle. So it means that at every moment we have to be giving, at every moment we have to be serving, at every moment we have to be in service, and we have to constantly think of ways to serve Prophet. And if our life becomes only about serving ourselves and every now and then occasionally doing something in the way of Islam, that is not the way of perfection. And then the fast is not that we fast and think that we're special, but we're asking to abstain from everything. Ya Rabbi, let me to fast with my mouth, fast with my ears, fast with my eyes, to abstain from everything other than your Divinely rida and satisfaction and what you love from Sayyidina Muhammad. Means every one of our actions, they ask us to look into them and see that are we doing it for ourselves and to be recognized? Are we doing it where pride and anger, pride and arrogance are entering within that action? If so, it's entering into the heart. If the heart becomes overtaken, it becomes boastful for its prayers, becomes boastful for its zakah, becomes boastful for its saum, become boastful for its hajj, that it feels so self-righteous that it's done so many great things as if Allah is so pleased with it, and then become no different than the imam who fell from the heavens, and that was Satan, teaching the angels thinking he is great, and one test Allah brought the whole house down. And they remind us our way is the way of humility, the way of being nothing and negating and negating and negating, and trying our best to keep ourselves lowest to the ground so that Allah doesn't have to knock our legs out, to bring us down. Means as much as Allah gives, know that you are nothing. As much as Allah opens within the heart, know that you are nothing. As much as Allah inspires within the heart, know that you are nothing. If that concept and that principle is not deeply ingrained within the heart, there's no more growth. Because as soon as you know a little bit or Allah inspire you a little bit, your cup becomes full. That you become the knower of all knowers, you know everything. So this way is the way of eternal growth. That, Ya Rabbi, whatever you bestowed upon me, I'm nothing. Whatever you have taught to me, I'm nothing. Whatever you have given to me, I'm nothing. Let me to be of your Divinely service. And that cup always to remain empty, so that Allah can continuously fill it, continuously fill it. And then if that cup is continuously filling, it's overflowing to be of service to the Divine, to be of service to Allah's creation. That becomes Darul Ihsan. Darul Ihsan means you're a cup overflowing. Why? You trained yourself to be nothing, be nothing, be empty. If it's empty, it can be full. If it's full, it becomes overflowing because Allah is generous. Overflowing with knowledge, overflowing with barakah, overflowing with amal, overflowing with wealth, overflowing with everything that Allah can give to it. It's the fountain of abundance. Why we call them Ataynaka al-Kawthar. Means the custodians of the Kawthar that Allah is giving to Prophet to Ashab al-Nabi, to ahlul bayt al-Nabi, to Awliya Allah, is that they are fountains overflowing of everything. Everything overflows. Why? Because then they understood that to be nothing and to receive from Allah means then to be of service to Allah. To be nothing, to reach that nothingness, and Allah begin to bestow. But with the concept that if Allah is going to bestow, it's for what? To be of service. A reminder that coming to the zikr is not an accomplishment. You've merely been granted a gift that Allah allowed you to remember His name. Because Allah says the same, that I allow my name to be forgotten in their hearts, or I allow my name to be remembered in their homes. Which the best of homes is the heart. Means that the coming to zikr is a gift from Allah. Not that I did a great accomplishment, I came to zikr and I ate lots of food. That's not the accomplishment. The accomplishment is to be of service to Prophet, to be of service to the Divinely Presence. The reward is Allah allows you to come and mention His name. It's a different way of thinking. You think that we did something great, I got on the bus today and I came to zikr and wow, I did a great action. Tariqah comes and teaches, no, don't think like that. Think that, Ya Rabbi, thank you for letting me to mention your name. Thank you for giving me the invitation. Thank you for giving me the right to sit and to praise you, to pray, to submit to you. All of that is Allah's ni'mat unto my soul and unto my being. And in exchange, Ya Rabbi, let me to serve you and to be of service to you. And every day asking, how can I serve you, Ya Rabbi? How can I serve? And Allah can't be served except through the door of Sayyidina Muhammad for us. That Allah says, you want to serve me? Then serve Ya Rasul. Bring a love and honour and respect for the way and that reaching that Divinely Presence, inshaAllah. We pray that a reminder for ourselves, now the holy month of Rabiul Awwal is opening up, that by Wednesday is the last Wednesday of Safar, and by Thursday inshaAllah the opening of Rabiul Awwal, and by the 12th will be, I think, the January 13th will be the Mawlid al-Nabi. So for us, such amazingly holy nights and holy realities, not that we are going to achieve anything, But we know that Allah's love for Sayyidina Muhammad is going to be giving out lots of gifts, lots of lights, lots of blessings. All we have to do is join in the love to be dressed by it. We pray that Allah give us long life to see that light and that love, and Allah give us a good heart and good action to reach towards the love of Sayyidina Muhammad. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun al mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.